And I would like to read very briefly from a man, Ibn Jubair, who was one of the ulama of Granata, who took a rihla, and that was one of the sunnah of the ulama, siyahatu ummati al-jihad, the tourism. I mean, a modern word in Arabic, siyaha, but siyaha used to mean a spiritual pilgrimage. The Prophet ﷺ said, the spiritual pilgrimage of my ummah is jihad, and the modern word siyaha is tourism. And that's the modern spiritual pilgrimage of these barbarians, is to go and lie on the beach somewhere. They work all year long and go lie on the beach somewhere. Whereas the siyaha of this ummah is jihad, struggle fi sabilillah. And man kharaja yatub al-ilm fahuwa fi sabilillah hatta an yarja'. The one that goes out seeking knowledge is in the path of Allah, mujahid, in the path of Allah until he returns home. And Allah says in the Qur'an about, let not all of you go out. La yanfiru kaffa. All of you don't go out. That a group should stay behind, لِيَتَفَقَّهُ فِي الدِّينِ, that learn the deen. So even the people who go out on jihad, there should always be a section of the ummah that their jihad is to maintain the sharia of Allah. Now if you look in the ummah, we have a crisis of knowledge. We have the ulama in this ummah now can be counted on the hands, and that's not an exaggeration. And the people now who even are considered ulama, if they're honest with themselves, they know that they're nothing compared to the ulama of the past. They're nothing. I mean, one of the great scholars of the United Arab Emirates, Shaykh Hamza bin Saleh, who's the head of the qada in Al-Ain, and he has over 30 years of experience in qada. And his library is huge library, and I never opened up one of his books except I found his markings on the side. And he told me, he said, you know, in previous times we would be considered like secondary students. He said, they consider us ulama now. He said, in the old days, we would be lucky to get into Al-Qarawiyyin, or into Zaytuna, or into Al-Azhar. And he wasn't being falsely humbled. He was just telling the truth. And so we have to recognize that we need ulama. We need people to rise up to the maqam of this deen. We need people who understand usul. But we don't need ulama al-jumud, ulama that don't understand the age they're living in. And now in the Muslim world, if you look at who's studying in a lot of the Sharia colleges, there are people that have difficult time. And that is not everybody, and I'm not denigrating, because there's many honorable people that are attempting to learn Sharia. But many of these people, they come out of backgrounds where the level of understanding is not, the degree of intellect is not there that we need to rise to the level of the problems that are confronting this ummah. And if you look at the Muslim, the movements in the Muslim world, most of the movements in the Muslim world are led by engineers. Really, this is a fact. Why? Because most of the real powerful intellects of this ummah have gone into the sciences, when in previous times they would have gone into Sharia. And so unfortunately, like Sayyidina Umar said, تَفَقَّهُ قَبْلَ أَن تَسُودُوا. Be people of fiqh before you become leaders. Because if you don't have fiqh, يَتَخَبَّطُونَ. You know, they'll just err by their nature. And so the deen is based on substance. Our usul are profound. And our usul are not simply, the usul al-fiqh are not simply limited to Islam. They can be applied to a corporation could take the usul of Islam and they could apply it for their own benefit. They're universal principles that transcend really even the religious character of their source. But we need people that understand it, that rise to the level of the deen. And we need to dedicate of our children in the traditional Muslim world. Every family wanted at least one or two of their children to enter into Islamic studies, at least. But also we have to learn Arabic language. Just learning the Arabic language. إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَاهُ قُرْآنًا عَرَبِيًّا لَعَلَّكُمْ تَعْقِلُونَ. We've put it into the Arabic language in order to give you the ability to use your intellect. Because the Arabic language by its nature enlarges the intellectual capacity of the individual. And I guarantee that. Somebody asked me, why should I learn Arabic? I said, because it'll increase your intelligence. It will. If you learn the Arabic language, it's a deep language, it's a profound language. It's the language Allah chose to give His last message in. Now if you look, Ibn Jubair went from Granata. Now he gives it's a rihla, a journey, but I just want to show what he says about Damascus. Damascus, Dimashq. which was one of the greatest cities of scholarship, there were over 70 colleges. 70 colleges in Damascus alone. In the city alone, there were over 70 colleges. In Fes, there were about 30. And I'm talking about not Jamia, university, colleges for higher education of students who had gone out of the primary level and going into serious study of mutun and things. He says, in this venerated mosque, after the morning prayers, there daily assembles a great congregation, jama'atun azima, of the reading of one of the 7 sections of Qur'an. So every day in the masjid of Bani Umayyah, they used to recite 1/7 of the Qur'an. They would finish it every 7 days. And he said it was a big jama'atun azima, a huge group. Allah said, لا يستمع قوم في بيت من, the Prophet ﷺ said, لا يستمع قوم في بيت من بيوت الله يتلون كتاب الله ويتدارسونه إلا حفتهم الملائكة ونزلت عليهم السكينة وحفتهم الملائكة وغشيتهم الله بالرحمة. That the sakina comes down, the angels will cover them, embrace them, and they will get this tranquility, and mercy from Allah will encompass them. Rahmah. وَإِذَا قُرِيَ الْقُرْآنِ فَاسْتَمِعُوا لَهُ وَأَنصِتُوا لَعَلَّكُمْ تُرْحَمُونَ. The rahmah comes with the reading of Qur'an. But look at the hadith, the Prophet said, يَتْلُونَ كِتَابَ اللَّهِ وَيَتَدَارَسُونَهُ. Not just reciting it, they study it. The Qur'an is meant to be studied. It is a worldview that's meant to be imbibed by the individual Muslim, to learn, to see things as they truly are. Allahumma arini al-ashya kama hiya. The Prophet used to say, show me things as they truly are. Allahumma arini al-haqqa haqqa warzuqni ittiba'a. Show me truth as it is, truth, and give me the ability to follow it. Wa arini al-batila batila warzuqni ijtinaba. And show me falsehood as it truly is, falsehood, and give me the ability to avoid it. And so he said they would do this. And then he said, this is unfailing. In other words, this was something he saw continuous action. And it is the same after the evening prayers for the reading of what is called the Kawthariyah. This is in 1151 of the Christian era. This is during the time of the Izzah of Islam, or Izzah of the Muslims. Allah is always Aziz, and His deen is always Aziz. Islam always has Izzah. Al-Izzatu lillahi. But the Muslims, their izzah is dependent upon whether they practice the deen. لا تهنوا ولا تحزنوا وأنتم الأعلون إن كنتم مؤمنين. Don't be weak and don't grieve because you're the superior ones. إن كنتم مؤمنين. If you're people of Iman. إن يمسسكم قرح فقد مس القوم قرح مثله. If you get afflicted by something, know that they get afflicted by those things too. In other words, what afflicts us afflicts them as well. وَتِلْكَ الْأَيَّامُ نُدَاوِلُهَا بَيْنَ النَّاسِ. We change this matter. Some tribulation is for you and then for them. But look at the Prophet when they said about the qatla of Yom Uhud. And he told Umar to shout back to them, no, because they said, this is for Badr. Your qatla al-yawm is for our qatla on Badr. And what did the Prophet ﷺ say? No, tell them, qatlana fil jannah wa qatlakum fil nar. Our dead are in Jannah and your dead are in the hellfire. So we're not the same. We're not the same. Our Mawla is Allah. And as for those who disbelieve, la mawla lahum. They have no Mawla. So he said, and when they read from Surah Al-Kawthar until the end of the book, to this assembly of Kawthar come all who do not well know the Qur'an by heart. And all such participants receive a daily allowance. They were given a stipend in the masjid to maintain this practice. More than 500 persons being able to live from it. So people were paid to recite the Qur'an continuously. This is one of the virtues of this venerated masjid, in which from morn till eve the Qur'an is read unceasingly. In it, lectures are delivered to students and teachers receive a liberal stipend. The teachers, the ulama, used to give a liberal stipend. That means they were given good amount of money. And the ulama used to be honored. And people say, well, ya akhi, they won't do it for the face of Allah, for Allah's wajh, if you give them money or something. No, Islam is to be encouraged. And that's why traditionally one of them said, تَعْلَمْتُ الْعِلْمَ لِغَيْرِ اللَّهِ.